Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about Pictus geckos. Alright, I'm so happy you could join us here today. Today's subject is one of my personal favorites, the Pictus gecko. Pictus geckos hail from Madagascar. The spiny forest region, I believe, is the southwest coastal region. Correct me if I'm wrong. So these guys, unlike a lot of Madagascar animals, are very tolerant of dry conditions, which is fantastic because we know it's very dry here in Colorado. I'm just going to share a few little guys here with you today. So today we have, this is one of our simple Pictus gecko setups. We use this to raise a lot of our babies. So you can see we have a water dish, a hide, moss to create humidity, and a couple little babies in here. We'll put an under tank heater and a heat pad. Hey, look at this little dude. We'll put an under tank heater and a thermostat on one side of this so they can properly thermoregulate. We usually set our hot spots in the mid to upper 80s. So I always figure if they get too warm, they'll move to the other side or vice versa. We like to see some back and forth movement throughout the day to ensure that they're thermoregulating properly. If they're sticking as far on the cold side as they can or as far on the warm side as they can, sometimes that can indicate there's a problem with your temperatures. Overall, these guys aren't too picky with exact numbers, so you don't need to stress yourself too much about that. One thing they do like to have is humidity. So we have our moss here, and you can see our substrate right now is fairly wet. We have a mix of jungle mix, repti soil, and sand in here for these guys. Just a super simple setup, and it works really well. These guys are insect eaters, so we'll use mealworms, dubia, and crickets dusted with calcium. As a staple diet, we'll use multivitamin and D3 a couple times a week when they're little, less often when they're bigger. And isopods will also feed these guys, so I use the Levis and Prunosis isopods, so powder orange, powder blue, that type of thing to feed these guys, because isopods are crustaceans high in calcium. It's good for these guys. Everybody, when they think Pictus geckos, they think that they're very prolific and easy to breed, which can be the case. The females lay small, hard-shelled eggs. The hard-shelled eggs are less likely to desiccate than your soft-shelled egg of like a leopard gecko or a fat-tailed gecko. But your female, it's very easy for her to overlay and make herself sick. So it's part of the reason why I think these guys probably aren't more popular. Because if you pair your female too young, or if you slack on the calcium or the feeding, it's very easy for your female to go downhill in the past. So when I first got into these guys, the common knowledge was that males could live 8 to 10 years, but females would only live 2 or 3. Now we know that that's simply not the case. It was our own mess ups. Live and learn. Take a look at this guy. So this is an adult Pictus gecko. So we've looked at several babies. So this is your full-grown adult. Let's see if he wants to come out and chill today. Some of these guys can become fairly hand tame if you work with them. All of ours are captive bred here, right here in our store. So they're fairly used to us messing with them. This might not be the case with every single Pictus gecko out there. But look how handsome he is. This is a full-grown male. So you can see about hand size, nice and chunky. You could tell he has a regenerated tail. Just like a leopard gecko, if they drop their tail, they will regrow it. Alright, so this guy is coming up on 2.5 years old now, versus these that were born in fall of 2020. So these are about 4 months old at this size versus 2.5 years at this size. So you have a little while. At about 18 to 24 months, I'd expect them to be getting close. Maybe not quite as chunky as this guy, but I would expect them to be getting pretty close to this size at that point. A permanent home for a Pictus gecko this size could be as small as a 10, although we recommend a little bit more floor space, say a 20 long, because the more you give them to do, they absolutely will use it. I've noticed mine, I put spider wood, I've noticed they'll climb onto the branches and look down below waiting for the bugs to come, and they'll pounce on them. It's super fun to watch, but like I said, a 10 gallon can make a perfectly sufficient home for a single adult Pictus gecko. Very similar to this. You know, you have your water, your hide, your humid hide, And then the more decor, the better. If I were going to outfit this in a bigger size for my adult Pictus geckos, I'd probably put a lump of wooden leaves in one corner, give them lots of stuff to kind of tool in and out of, because they love to do that. So your adult size setup, using a 20-gallon lung, can run around $100 to $200 depending how fancy you want to get. A lot of that's going to be your life support system, so your heating elements. Let's take a look at these guys. So your Pictus Gecko itself is going to usually run anywhere from $34.99 to $99.99 depending on type and gender, although some of the real fancy morphs, there's anery and snow type morphs out there that can sometimes run several $100s. These are just a selection of what they were just normal. So you have your banded. See this little guy? Let's see if he'll come hang out. See? So we have a banded Pictus Gecko. So you can see the bands run side to side across his body, kind of like a leopard gecko. And then our striped Pictus Gecko. These are your two basic morphs. So you can see his stripe runs white from head all the way to tail. And then one kind of aberrant morph is this male is what they would call just a blotched or a spotted, because his bands are broken up into different spots. We are currently running a sale on Pictus geckos through the end of February 2021, or while supplies last. Only $24.99 for any of the Pictus geckos that you see here, just through the end of February. So, and that doesn't guarantee that any of these will still be here, that somebody else doesn't get them before you. So if you see one that you like the look of, come on down and get it right away. Thanks everybody for watching my video. I was glad I was able to share these guys with you. We have a care guide on our website for Pictus geckos that goes more in depth. If there's anything I missed, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit those little buttons down below, and we'll see you soon.